Everyone, today I'm doing a fun little color along in Alexandra Franzese's Spooky Chibis coloring book. This is a very inexpensive adult coloring book from Amazon, and I am going to use markers today. I'm going to use Ohuhu markers from my Honolulu 320 set. I will link below everything I'm using in this video. It is important you have like a cardstock. I have one here for testing colors, and I have one here behind my page to protect it from the other page. And so this is a really, there's a myth that you can't use markers in coloring books, the quote cheap coloring books that have basic Amazon paper. And sorry, I've had like laryngitis and bronchitis, and so I get short of breath easy. With me on. You can use markers in basic Amazon paper coloring books, but the blending is a little trickier. You have to work faster. You can't do all the same techniques, but you can do it. The higher quality marker, the better. Ohuhus and Copics are the best. Some other good possibilities are the Shin Hand Touch markers. Also the this set I have here Artfinity markers, and the Tombow Pro alcohol markers all work very similarly well. I'm going to do her skin last because I don't have my skin tones in here at the moment. They're in a basket in another room. So we're just going to start with coloring the pumpkin. I'm just going to tell you the colors that I'm using. I want to double check. So I have them laid out from left to right, the 4 oranges I'm using for my pumpkin. So I'm using YR172 Tiger Lily, YR180 Lipstick Orange, Y10 Apricot, and YR3 Orange. For the pumpkin, it's also, fixing my camera again, it's also beneficial to have an alcohol marker blender. You can pull one from your Ohuhu set. You can buy a 3-pack of more Ohuhu ones, which is what I do. I also have the Art and Fly. These are the alcohol markers. You get like a 3 or 6-pack. The blenders, any of them will work. The trick is you just want to make sure it's really moist. So when you touch it to your hand, it feels wet. You can see it leaves a little wet spot. This one's pushing it. But it's not totally there. I think I can get a good use out of it today though when I use it up. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take the YR172 Tiger Lily, the darker color, and I'm going to just kind of outline. There's a little bit of light grayscale shadow in this book. You can see here. And I'm just going to do like 2 parts of the pumpkin at a time. I'm going to do over that light little grayscale. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to take the next darkest orange. I'm laying them left to right, putting them back left to right, the lipstick orange. And I'm going to blend in just a little bit into the other color and over on each side. So I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna actually bring it a little bit into the white space. And this pumpkin's gonna be a little darker. Okay, then I'm gonna I wanna get the apricot, the Y10. Apricot is actually a little darker than the other orange. And I can't, there we go. I'm going to blend over the edge of where that other color stopped. And I do try to work a little bit fast because the paper absorbs the ink faster. It dries faster than on a good marker paper. That's the only downside if you want to get a nice smooth blend. Leave a little white space there. Then go to that final, which is the orange. And I'm just going to fill right on in these white spots as quickly as I can before it fully dries. Okay. I'm going to just try to pull some of that darker color into the center. Go over it a couple of times. This is why we only do 1 or 2 sections at a time. If you did this in order, like 1 color at a time, it would long be dry by the time you get to the second color. Now, while it's still a little wet, take your alcohol marker blender, the moist end, the brush end, and I'm just going to put a little bit of that in the center of the, where we put that lightest color, which will almost give it like a little bit of a highlight. You're not really blending the colors. I'm actually just using it to lighten it a little bit over the lightest color right in the center. That's really all I want to do. We're just going to let that dry. We're going to repeat the process. This middle part of the pumpkin is big, so that will be its own section. So I'm going to do this one and this little one, I think. I just want to double check. I felt like I might have had... I want to make sure I'm doing this. Yeah, gosh, that's tough. Okay, yeah, I want to do the lipstick orange first. So I'm gonna do the lipstick orange dark right here in this grayscale area. Then over here, bottom. Again, it doesn't have to be perfectly straight or anything. You're going to blend over it. A little bit up here. Straight down. And this one I think is a part of the next section. Okay, let's get the next color, which is the Tiger Lily. Let's open and we're going to blend. There was no grayscale here, so I didn't put that color here, but I'm going to put this color here, and I'm going to blend a little bit into that other one and then lap a little bit into the white area. I'm just going to outline and kind of you're blending and then pulling it into the white area, slowly like boxing in the area. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to bring it a little bit in, maybe right there. Okay, let's do this one. We're going to go over and down, bring it into the white area. And we got a little up here, a little right there. I think that will suffice. Let's get the next color, which is the apricot. I'm going back to this one because this one was done first, so it'll dry sooner. Blend over, leave a little bit of white. I'm going to go inside this shoe, horseshoe. Looks like a horseshoe, but it's the cutout horseshoe shape. I'm going to go here. It's going to take a little longer because we're going around the mouth. It'll be a little trickier to get it on before it's dry. I'm just trying to get the color in as quick as I can. That's a part of the other one. And then let's go to the last color, which is the orange. And I'm going to quickly fill this in just to get the color in there. Working kind of quick. Get this one here, here. And then once it's in, kind of while it's still wet, pull that darker color into the lighter color. Pull it in. While it's still a little, not like fully dry. I mean, it's probably mostly dry by the time you have moved here and back, but if you moisten it a little, you can sometimes blend a little more. It's a little trickier when you're doing bigger areas. If you really didn't like the look, you can take the color, the second to last dark or one before and go over everything, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to keep touching it up. Giving it kind of a mottled look. Then I'm going to take my alcohol marker blender now. I missed some spots here. Pull down, reblending. And I'm going to take my alcohol marker blender. Go right in this center on its side with the brush tip. Just make it look a little yellow. When you lighten it, it's turning a little yellow. Okay, and this is a very basic coloring book. Obviously, this is real easy beginner level stuff. It's not, I'm not making any kind of a masterpiece or anything. I'm just showing you some fun, easy techniques. How to do this in an Amazon paper. So I'm only doing this in the light, all the areas of the last color. And it kind of softens the edges where that other color ended and makes it look a little yellow. And then like adds a little glow to it. All right. This is the redundant part. We have to repeat the process a final time. Because this area is so big, I kind of want to do this bottom part first along. Trying to see, is that a part of his mouth right there? That is, I think, under the shoe. I think this whole section is right there. So I'm going to do this bottom part first. We're going to start again with the lipstick orange. We'll just real quick do this bottom part, outline it. I leave the lids loose when I set it back down so I don't have to keep going pop on, off, on, off, 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 on. All right, now we've got the tiger lily. Let's blend in here. Now we could do the apricot. Go upward into the mouth area, right under the mouth a little. And lastly, the orange. Just fill in right there. This is where you pull the darker color upward into the lighter area. And take the alcohol marker blender, just get right there under where the mouth is, right in that little pocket. Lighten it up a little. And right there, okay. All right, we're gonna tackle the big part. Actually, I just realized this little square right there, see what I'm looking at? This here, I thought that was part of the mouth, but I think that's another line for another pumpkin section. It is. So theoretically, here's the line. It disappears. It continues here. So really, this is a separate section, which is good because it means it's not as big as I thought. So let's do that separate. So let's start with the lipstick orange. I'm going to do right here. And feel free to color any pumpkin you have in any coloring book using this method to try this technique out with these colors. All right, let's go to the tiger lily. And we're going to fill in just a little, go over it, a little bit into the white there, a little bit there. Leave room for the lighter colors. Let's do the apricot. I'm going to get all that. There's not enough room for 4 colors here, so we'll just do 3. Leave a little room for the last color. Just kind of get that there. And then let's, oh, I missed right there, but that's okay. We'll just go over it. The orange. This is the orange now. I'm pulling the dark color into the lighter color to kind of give it a nice blend at the edge where the dark color ends and the lighter color begins. And then I'll take my blender right on that light color right there, right there. Real easy. Okay. Yeah, so now we can tackle the big center of the pumpkin. So again, I have my 4 colors lined up left to right in the order of when I do them. So I keep, and I lay it down in the same spot of where I picked it up from, so it becomes a real habitual. So the furthest one on the left is the darkest, which is the lipstick orange. Let's do that. And I'm going to work a little faster because we have a bigger section. It could dry more. And the shadow is going to kind of go, the grayscale under the shoe up and around the eye. Okay. So now there is no grayscale here, but I'm still going to put it there right here. But let's start here under her butt. I'm going to go down. Let's just trace these things. Imagine the grayscale goes all the way. Let's do some here, just like that. Okay. I don't think we need any around the mouth. So let's get the next color, the tiger lily. We're going to blend into that edge and into the white. So we got to bring this color into the white. We got to fill in the white space. So we're boxing it in, we're closing it in as we blend over the other color and a little bit into its own white area. Just like that. Okay. Let's get the apricot. Same thing. Let's blend it right into these edges. You have to go a little fast, and I do like little squiggles to really blend into that other color before it dries. I just kind of do it sloppy and fast just to get it in there. And then I start going into the white more. The most important part is to blend before it's too late. I'm also going to go here around the mouth, or the tooth. There we go. Now let's get our last color, the orange, and get that in really quick. You can overlap the other color. I'm going to get all this in before it dries. That's the trick. Now you'll see, you can see almost looks like a tie-dye. I'm going to work on pulling this color down for the dark into the lighter area. And pull the dark always up into the lighter area. Pull it down. See, it is softening, blending it a little better. It's taking the edge off. Looks a little zaggy. Now, if you didn't like how that looked, you could take like the tiger lily, which would be darker, or even the apricot, and just go straight on over that. And if you didn't like that look, and darken it. I'm actually going to take the alcohol marker and blender. I'm going to hit up this center, including both the last two colors, but mostly the center where we want to lighten it up. Sometimes once it's dry and the picture's done, I come back with pencil, and I'll go in the pencil. I'll go with a yellow pencil in here, and that looks really nice. Or like an apricot pencil. So I can show you that trick as well once it's dry. So I'm just going to blend a little longer to the center area. Down here. Got a little inside the mouth. That's all right. So that's basically how I wanted to do this little guy here. And the reason we filed that grayscale under her foot and the eyes, because there's an object here, and it's kind of partly covering the pumpkin, so there'd be a shadow, right? That's why there's a little grayscale there. That's why you trace it under there. So that pumpkin is done for the outside. So I can try to type in all these colors I used just in order into the body of the Facebook Messenger. I'm sorry, Facebook. What am I talking about? The YouTube. I'm so out of it. I might do her hat in some oranges, so I'm going to set these aside but not get rid of them just yet. Okay. So I want to go ahead and do some of the glow inside the mouth. What I do need is one color I didn't grab. This might work. This is an Arteza pencil in plain old orange. See what I have like nearby. I would normally get like a peachy. I don't know if I can go over that. Yeah, I can. I'm going to get like a peachy color or a brighter orange to do just the cutout part, what you might see inside the pumpkin. So I'm just going to do a little pencil right here. Just the carve out part of the inside of the flesh right there. And there. Or you can just use a marker, like a peach color or a brighter orange that's different than the other oranges used, so it shows, pops out a little more for a little texture and everything. You can use a Prismacolor, you can use a marker. Doing just all these little carve out spots with a pencil. And these pencils do work really well on Amazon paper. These Arteza Expert pencils, as do Prismacolors, or my favorite two colors. Okay, there. I mean, I overlapped a little marker, but see, that pencil went right over it. In fact, this might be a good color. Ideally, a yellow would be better. This was kind of like a winging it tutorial. I'm still low energy recovering from my stuff, so I didn't want to go to a lot of drama. I do have here, this is sometimes a fun trick. I have here a Copic marker in a bright yellow. It's called Acid Yellow. You can also do this if you had a bright yellow. You can touch your yellow. Actually, this one, yeah, you can touch your yellow right back over the blender if you want to put a touch of yellow in there, like wherever you had done the blender. Another thing you could do, I do have what I was going to do on the inside, kind of a fluorescent-y Ohuhu. I have lightning yellow. You could use that, so you could just kind of go right over. Oh, once the alcohol marker blender is dried, give it a couple of minutes like we did. Just go right on over the center. You can give it a little more of a yellow glow. You can also do that with a yellow pencil. Just a little trick. Okay. And, you know, pumpkins are kind of splotchy and uneven colors, right? It's not going to be like a perfectly flat color. Okay. So anyway, but the pencils are handy as well. And I did get some inside his nose, unfortunately. So we'll see what ends up happening there. I think that'll suffice. We'll fix that later. Okay. So for the yellows, I have 3 yellows. An Ohuhu, I have acid yellow, which ironically, there's also the acid yellow in Copic. I have the lemon yellow, Y6, and lightning yellow, Y08, in that order, left to right. So it's acid yellow, lemon yellow, and lightning yellow. And I'm going to take the acid yellow, this is a darker one, and I'm just going to kind of outline the inside of the eye with it, kind of like we did each section of the pumpkin, like that. And if you got a little orange in that eye, this will kind of blend it in a little, that yellow. Let's do the same one up here in the eye. Okay, then let's go to the lemon yellow. This one actually is looking a little darker. Is that darker? Actually, that one's darker. I'm going to go over the complete exterior then and make this the first color. So let's go down to the mouth. I want to outline the bottom with this lemon yellow, the mouth. Just kind of squiggle it on in. Gonna do at the top, squiggle it on in. If you get a little orange there, just try to blend it out. I'm just kind of winging it for you. Not anything too complicated. Then let's go to the second yellow. That should be the first yellow. I think the acid should be the second yellow. And then we'll just go over that just a little. Leave a little white space though for the lightest color. We'll go back to the nose later. I'm gonna just okay. I'm going to leave some space in the middle for that lightning yellow. And I'm going to just get that last part. And this is like a more neonish. I'm just going to blend over everything. I'm going to use this light color as a blender for all the yellows here. You see that? Let's get down here. Let's just start blending all these colors. Okay. We're going to blend right here. Great. So there's a little orange like here and here that got in there from our other marker that bled over. So I'm just blending it, making it look almost like a little bit of a glow, you know, like a candle-y glow. Just keep working this yellow marker. You can go in with a real bright yellow, do the center. But we're going to do a little alcohol marker blender. All right. We're going to go right in the center. right in the middle. Right in the middle, I'm just working it. That's just kind of like blending all these yellows together and the little orange that overlapped, giving it like a little glow. And then later I might touch up with like a little white pencil right there to make it look really light right there. I'll let it dry, or like a neon yellow pencil, something like that. Let's let that dry. The nose, because I got more orange in there than I meant to. I'm going to take the lemon yellow, the Y6, and I'm going to try to blend a little at the top. If you add new moisture to the orange, to an already dry color, you can actually still blend a little bit, because you put new alcohol into, because when you do an alcohol marker, the color goes down with the alcohol, but then the alcohol evaporates. But you add a little more color over it, you put more alcohol in. You can blend it a little bit, so it's not, completely hopeless. But I'm going to do a little bit of the next yellow, which is the acid. And I'm going to do, again, that lightning yellow in the center. Got a little bit right there. Okay, so we let all that dry. We come back to it later after we're done with the picture. We look at it and see, what does it need? Does it need some touch-up? Does it need some white pencil, more light or yellow? And once we get everything done, you'll see it'll look good together. It's really hard to get like a real glowy effect on basic paper like this, but I think that's the best we can do for now. So I'm going to actually set these yellows aside as well. We're done for now until we need them again. And keep them in order from left to right. So I want to do her hair. Her hair, I'm doing some browns with a teeny tad of a little yellow. I'll show you the 4 colors I'm using for her hair. All right, I have E130 Copper. This is left to right. E370 Light Walnut. E260 Leather, and Y2 Sunflower. And these are the colors we're going to use from left to right as we work on our hair. So I lay them down like this, and I pull from left to right. I put them back in the same spot. I'm going to move it over to my side. Since I'm right-handed, I'm going to put it on the left. All right. Hopefully my page hasn't been crooked all this time. Ooh, all right. Let us continue. Right in the middle. And you can take a little alcohol marker blender. You can touch a little bit there if you want to look a little like a highlight. Let's take a break after this. I'm going to do yellow, purple, and pinks, I think, of her outfit with a little orange, kind of hocus pocus colors here. And so let's just do the bottom on each. So we'll use that copper to do okay. Next color is the light walnut. Okay, so for her hair, she's got long hair. She's got this top part and then the whole braid sections. I'm going to work on the little braid sections first. 2 ways to do this when you're using multiple colors. First way, you have 4 colors. The first way, you can take your darkest. You can do like we do with the pumpkin. Left dark here, right dark here. Then the second color, a little bit in more, a little bit in more. The third color, here, and then the final light color in the middle, blend it over everything, tie it all in. You can also go top to bottom. You can do the first color, a fourth of a way, then the second, the third, and the fourth, like a gradient, like an ombre. I'm gonna use the same method we did with the pumpkin, left to right, so the lines look the same, and the style where you have the shadows on the outside and the light and the highlight in the middle. Okay, so let's start with the E130 Copper. So I'm just going to stir in this top one. I'm going to kind of do what I did with the pumpkin. And, I'm not necessarily going to get, there are 1, 2, This one is sectioned off into strands. I mean, theoretically, you could do a solid block on each strand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But then when you get up here, it wouldn't quite be like that. So let's just do that. I'm going to do like Deborah Muller Easy Block Color. I'm going to do the first strand here on the left. I'm going to do this thin one on the right. And since we're not fully blending, since we're doing actual strands, we could do a couple at a time. Let's go down and do this one. Oh, this one might have less strands. A little. Yeah, it has a little less than this one. So this one I'm not going to do a full strand. I'm going to do like a half strand. On this bigger one, I'm going to do like half of this and pretend like there's another strand right there. Okay, well, let's just go all the way down. Let's do this. I'm going to do a half strand here. This one already has a grayscale line. I'm going to do a half strand. And we'll save the bottom for later. Let's go back to the next color, which is the light walnut. I'm going to do here this next strand. It's fine to overlap the other color. See, this one had enough strands to do all the colors, so we could do that. This one, we can get away with it. And the second half strand here. This one here. This half strand here. This one here. And I'm also running it over the darker one to tie it together and kind of soften it a little. So they're cohesive. Okay, then the next, let's do the leather E260. So we're going to do a separate strand and a separate strand. It's not much lighter, it's just a little. Now we got to leave room for the last gold, so I'm going to do only a half strand, half strand, half strand, half strand, and just a little half strand. That's it. Now let's go in with that yellow gold. This is a little unusual because there's separate strands in the braid. And this is like a really basic hair, so I'm going to do that yellow wherever there's white left, but I'm also going to blend it over all the hair, which will lighten it and give it like a gold tint. Sometimes I have another trick I do if I don't like how that looks. Just go over everything. Sometimes I like to put this as a low light, so it's underneath. So I'll do that final white area. Then I'll go over everything like this, like yonder. Then I'm going to take the second to last color we did, which is one before this, the leather, and then I go back over everything, and you see that yellow through it. So let's do that. So now I'm going to go quickly over everything. You see that? And you can see the yellow comes through it, but it ties those other browns together. And it almost looks like it has like an undertone of a little yellow or gold or blonde or whatever. And then you don't see as much like splotchiness or anything like that. So there we go. Yeah, and so you see the little undertones. It looks like there's a gradient of multicolors in there. With the darker parts like on a little bit on the outside. Okay, well, you can see that. I'd have to zoom in a little, come closer. See that? Okay. I mean, you could just do solid color if you want, but I'm changing some basic alcohol marker blending here. Make sure my book is straight because I feel like it's not straight in my camera. I have no idea. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'll do these two ends last. I'm going to go ahead and do the top parts of her hair. So I'm going to start with that darkest one again. For this one, this is the copper. This one a little different. This one I'm going to just hit these gray areas. So there's some already here. There's like one right here. One right here. right here. Just hit those 4. Let's stop. Let's go to the next, which is the light walnut. I'm going to hit here. I'm going to kind of blend into the edge of anywhere I just put that color. So it's like a nice transition from that color to the next. And just leave plenty of white spots for the other 2. Okay, I'm going to actually do her bang. And then I'm going to run this right around her face. Okay, let's go to the next color, which is the leather. So I'm going to blend this in, leave plenty of white for that gold, because we want it to look like there's a lot of texture, different pattern. You don't want it to be like be flat, basically. So I'm just kind of touching it here or there. And let's get that gold put in where the white is as this undertone, and blend over the other colors. Okay. Then grab the leather again and do a top coat over that gold. Use this color to tie everything together. We're not using an alcohol marker blender in her hair. Just giving her some highlight and low light. Or undertone, whatever you want to call it. I'm not a salon stylist. Okay, you can take the yellow one final time if you wanted and touch a little more right there. You can also touch a little more yellow here if you wanted. Once that's been dry, go back in if you like. Good. And the reason I'm putting that touch of yellow is so it complements the yellow in the pumpkin, which is in the pumpkin itself and in the mouth. It's just a little hint of it. So it's one, not too dark, her hair, dark brown, but it's got some texture and different kind of like dimensions there. You can take an alcohol marker blender where you went back over with the yellow and put in just a little bit there to look like a real highlight. Might be too dry now. Let's see, yeah, I mean, you can get a little right there. Like a highlight right there by her face, if you want to do that. All right, tea's cold. Ooh, I like it cold. That was good. Pumpkin tea. It's like iced tea now. It's so cold. Okay. Whew. So let's do the E130 copper. Again, the dark. I'm going to hit this side. So make sure you don't actually get her skin. Her face ends right here. I don't see any pre-grayscale shading on this side. So I'm going to pretend there is. I'm going to put some right here under her cheek carefully. We don't want it to bleed into her skin. Around her face carefully. Right there. I'm going to give a little more at her roots. Like do some roots like that. Maybe one right there. I'm going to do one up here on the edge. Okay. Next is the walnut, the light walnut. Gonna blend in, run alongside it. Just blend wherever into that dark is just a little bit. This technique I'm showing you, some of these really basic alcohol marker blending techniques you can use on any book, no matter what you're coloring. So these are kind of common universal techniques. This is leather. So I'm going to do a little bit of that leather blend in. It's a technique where you use 4 colors. You box in darkest to lightest. You know, use a little light highlight. These are all you could do on any, you know, on anything or any hair, etc. Now I'm going to do the yellow color we have, which is the sunflower. Putting that in, touching it everywhere. Okay. And we'll go on the leather again. Go. The leather is the top coat, right? So we're going to tie all the colors together with the leather, especially that dark. Pull it a little bit over the yellow area. Okay. Then you can take the yellow, hit that yellow spot again, And then we're going to hit it while it's wet with alcohol marker blender. Right here. All right. Okay. So now we've got these ones and the bottom one. It does seem like it's time consuming, but if you want a good blend effect, that's what happens. But you get faster. So now that we know what we're doing, I'm going to do this right all the way down. So I'm going to do this copper E130. Okay. Wait, this one is enough for all 4 colors, right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We'll run out a little bit of the way. 1. So we'll do a half dark strand. This one can be all dark. The copper, we'll do a half dark and a partial dark. This one can be all dark. This one can be half dark. I'm not doing the very bottom yet. I'll do those last, both ends. This one will be partially dark. Okay. Next, we'll do the light walnut. Gonna do the rest of that section and half of this section. I'm gonna do part of this section. Got some on that. Was that a cat? I think that was a cat. Whoops, sorry, kitty. Guess we'll have to make you a darker color then. We're gonna do half of this strand because we want to make sure we leave room for all the colors. Okay, let's do the leather. We're gonna do a full strand with the leather because we got a half strand. We got room for the yellow. Half. And the yellow. Or I'm sorry, sunflower. We're gonna do everything. Hit that open area. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just get that yellow in there. All over. Tile the color together. Then get the leather again. Back over everything. Then I'm going to take the yellow again, just touch it a little bit right here, put a little back in, which helps blend that final color right in the middle. And you can take a little alcohol marker blender, you can touch a little bit there if you want to look a little like a highlight. Let's take a break after this. I'm going to do yellow, purple, and pinks, I think, of her outfit with a little orange, kind of hocus pocus colors here. And so let's just do the bottom on each. So we'll use that copper to do okay. Next color is the light walnut. Next color is the leather. And go back over everything. I'm going to do a little bit here of alcohol blender. I just followed that same process. Okay, my throat's starting to bother me again, so recovering from this god-awful virus. I might touch it again. It's okay, I got some brown on that broom, because obviously the broom's going to have brown in it. I'm going to touch that leather over it just one more time. Leather makes a nice top coat. If you see any splotchiness anywhere, just feel free to touch it up somewhere. Little strands. I'm going to go up here and we'll probably do the background a dark color. So if the brown bled over a little bit, that's okay. Into your background, I'm going to touch up the little strands. All right. Okay. So, the next thing I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do her skin next, and the broom and her outfit. But I'm going to pause. I'll have to do this tomorrow. But I'm going to set these colors aside. We're all done with them here. And in case we need them again, and continue. And I have a whole host of purples we're going to use for the rest. Hope you're having a good time. See you in a little bit. All right, so I'm continuing on our color along. I'm actually going to wait on her skin tone until I get her clothes done, just so I can see what the right skin shades will be. I think we'll go ahead and do the background first, and I'm going to do the dark purples in here for that. So for the Ohuhu, I have the R17 Pansy and V320 Gentian Violet. Gentian. So it's a darker and one that's a little bit lighter. And I'm going to use kind of a technique where we do darker and bring it in lighter toward the center. And I'll show you how I do that. So we're going to start with the darker one, which is the R17 Pansy. I'm going to use the brush nib. Still recovering from this laryngitis. That's why I had to limit how much I do at once. My book got a little bent, unfortunately. So we'll do this corner up here. I'm sure you can see well enough. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of draw a line, like a diagonal, like that. Stop at the bat, go through. And then I'm going to color it in. You can switch to the chisel nib if you have larger surfaces to do to get that color in faster for a background. Okay. Have to be kind of careful. If it gets too close to the frame though, I like to switch back to the brush nib to get up here, keep it in that frame. Okay, and then I'm going to also start here and go a little bit down, just a little bit for now, just so we can get that quadrant. Maybe a little more. Then I'm going to just kind of draw a little bit into there. So now I'm going to grab my lighter color, the Gentian, whatever that is. I'm going to use the chisel nib. And I'm going to color right along the edges right into this. Hopefully it's not all the way dry yet. So overlap the color and go right into the edge where this color stopped. And bring it more, pull like this, the dark into the new color. And pull it into the white space. I'm going to do that here as well. I'm just going to pull it in with the chisel nib. That's going to eliminate like an obvious line where one color ends and the other begins. And we're trying to kind of like make it look seamless. I'm going to just go straight up here. Try to outline her hair and just fill in all this white space where I can. This is a real simple two-tone, should I say, marker background. I only do this when there's a lot of stuff in the center and you have just white around the quadrants. It's almost pushing too much white, what I like to do with this method, but I knew it would work, but this would be the maximum amount of white space I would want. I don't want to use up too much of my ink. So I'm going to pull a little more. Just pull a little more. You will see where it's darker versus a little lighter. It's subtle though, but you can tell. So now I'm going to go back to the darker color and continue this sort of process. I'm going to draw a line down, fill it in. It's easier to use the brush nib. I think it can work fairly quickly. Then let's grab the gentian and again go right over that line where it ends and go around the hair. I'm using the chisel nib because you can get the color in faster and blend it before it dries very much. That's why we work in smaller sections. Gonna pull in some of this color. And then, all right, we gotta let that dry. It's gonna be wetter right there. Okay, so I'm going to do that all the way, you can see, onto the bottom with the darker one. I do need to get this actually on the inside of her braid as well. Around her clothes. Sometimes I'll do a third lighter color, but I wanted to keep this real simple for beginners. I'm going to switch to the brush nib and get it all in here. Got some around her face. Very careful. Don't get too close in case it bleeds in a little. Purple face. While we're at it, might as well do the inside over here. We know it's going to be the lighter color right there. Maybe right here around her hair. This one will be fully all the light color so we can get in here before I get to the bottom of the other side. Just going to outline the hair, outline her skin with the brush nib. So I can control where my tip is going and not let it bleed over. All right. So let's go on down here. And I'm just gonna outline a good chunk along her shoe to the bottom and fill this in with the darker color. And the reason I use more than one color too is to eliminate how much ink is used from any one marker. You know, so your markers last longer and you don't bleed it all dry in one whole picture. Okay, let's do it here too. We're gonna kind of draw on a line. And color that in. Using the brush tip just do it so I can control it doesn't go over the frame. Let's go to this one. This is a lighter color. We're gonna blend right in the line here. Blend that in before it dries. I can actually use the chisel end to get it wider berth colored here. Wide berth. Pull up that darker color. All right. And I'm going to do some accents in the background. Now you can see kind of where that darker one stopped. If you wanted to, if that was too harsh of a darker to a light, you can go over it with the light one for a second coat. I'll kind of show you how that works, at least over here. Just going to go over this. It's been a little drier. Just to darken everything up a little, and it kind of ties it all in a little bit. I'm going to go a little closer to the Mr. Bat here. This is going to give it a little more of a purplish black look when you do the second coat. If you want to do second coat. I felt that that line might have been a little harsh, so I'm going to go down under the bat. Quick second coat up here. And this is totally optional. I felt like because this paper the ink dries so much faster that it's more likely to leave a line, a gradient line. Doesn't blend quite as well as on marker paper, or better paper with less tooth. So you do a second coat, which will tie it all together. Okay, so it's a little more eggplant up here, and I kind of like that actually. But you still see the undertone of the lighter purple, and you can still see a little bit of the gradient, but it's a little more just smoothed out now. But then I'm going to leave the one around her body without a second coat, so it looks like a different shade of purple, if that makes sense. All right, so we're going to just let this dry. All right, so I'm going to go back to the darker purple. I'm going to work on this bottom part here. I'm just going to do underneath the broom. fill this in. Try to keep it all going one direction if you can. Go here. Okay, let's go to the other purple. Let's get right here around the broom. This is the gentian purple, the pumpkin. Okay, now we're going to work away. I should probably be wearing my white jacket while I'm doing this. This one's a little more bulgy at the spine. It's a little trickier. I'm gonna go to the chisel nib. Okay, let's go to the gentian. Ooh, hello. And get this color in, the white color next to it. Just takes a little time. And you need really good quality markers to do this on regular, cheaper Amazon paper like this. Or it just is going to look so faded and dull, you won't like it whatsoever. Okay. Let's take the darker one and get to the top here to finish. So I'm going to just kind of go like that. Like that's where the darker color will be. And go to the chisel nib. All right. The reason I do the line is to kind of just control where the color goes. It's a little odd doing this on camera without turning my book sideways. Okay, I'll go to the lighter one now. Drink my sparkling water. Whoa, hello. So I am running it over again for that second coat. Generally like to be like a few minutes longer dried, but just want to get a little more in over that line and kind of tie the two colors together. And we'll let it dry. And let this dry a little bit. All right, woo, we did it. Only took forever. So you can see the different tones. You see some of that brighter purple. Here it looks almost like an indigo now, and then into like a little eggplant, and then that like more darker violet. So yeah, that's just a real simple two-tone marker background. Real easy. You do want to kind of let it dry. Gonna put these colors down. I might have got a little on the broom or the bow, but we shall fix that quite easily. I wanted to go ahead and I brought some pretty greens to go with my pinks and purples to do her outfit. So let's look at these colors. We have, that one is the yellow green. That one's the May green. That one is, I am getting a rumbling on my stomach, an olive green. Does not look olive whatsoever. So I think these are good. So since I was going for orange, yellow, pink, and green, kind of hocus pocusy colors, I want to do her dress underneath the overalls in this green. So let's do it in this order. Let's start with the G190 olive green, G170 May green, Gy4 Yellow Green. So I'm just going to take the chiseling nib on the darker one, which is the olive green, and we're going to just kind of follow this shadow on her skirt. And also around little kitty's paw and little kitty's paw. Okay. Let's go to the next one, the May green. And I'm going to fill in the middle of the two. I'm going to go down. Just blend a little bit into that other color, and we'll kind of close it in like we did with that pumpkin. And then the last color, the yellow green, gonna blend that in. Might almost be too much of a differential, too strong of a contrast of greens, but we'll see if we can get it blended well. And if not, I'll go over it and use it as an undertone. Try to pull more of that color. And I'm not sure I'm gonna like this, so what I think I'll do, yeah, I'm gonna go back over it with the May green, which is the middle color, and that yellow will be the undertone. So let's go back over that. It ties it all in so it's not quite as stark of a contrast. There we go. That's better. All right, good. And you can see almost like a little bit of yellow underneath, which I like. And then let's do the same up here on her puff sleeves with the olive green. I'm going to outline her sleeve. I'm going to get inside this little part here. I'm going to do this one here. going to go inside underneath her little vest, so right under the collar, right there. Okay, let's get that May green as well. Gonna just kind of blend in and over that other color. Let's do that yellow green in the middle, the white areas. Let's get her sleeve with it. Okay, and then we'll tap in with that May green, go right over it, over that yellow. Let's give it a good blend. Excellent. Okay, so I bled over a little, but we'll go in with a little different color of some kind. I do want to take, I think then for the apron that overlays, that then we'll do straight up that yellow, the Gy4, and it'll, since it's lighter, let's do that for the over part of her dress that lays over it, so you can tie that into the undertone of the yellow. There we go. Collar as well. We're trying to keep this real simple. A little darker there, so we're going to try to blend that out, soften it. All right, there we go. That's the cat body. I'm going to get this part, the bottom of her dress, and this yellow. Just soften up that right there. And her stockings we'll do in the lavenders. Good. I think that's it for the main part of her dress. I might want to put some of the greens into her stockings, but let's go in with these other purples now. Or let's see, so I have these two, deep lilac and mauve. So it's V160 and V030. I'm gonna go ahead and go in with these two. I'm going to adjust it real quick on my page. Yeah, so let's take the V030 Mauve, chisel in. I'm going to start on this big part of her stocking. I'm going to do just half of it, like a dome, and then half, the top half maybe. I'm going to skip one, go up along the side, and then just do half. So then grab our other color, the V160 Deep Lilac, and blend in. Go over that mauve, tie it all down together here. There we go. So you can see like the two-tone on her stockings. Let's do this one too. Let's go up the side. Do like the first half. We're going to skip one, go up the side. Do the first half. All right, get the deep lilac. And let's go right on over, fill it in, go over everything real easy. Hey, buddy. Cat is in here. I'm going to also take this color, the deep lilac, and do the band at the top of her thigh. So it's just a solid color there. All right. And I want to do her, that's tough. Yeah, I want to go ahead and do her bows as well in these colors so they coordinate. So let's do the center part in the mauve. A little bit here. Do that shadowy part right there. Shadowy part right there. Okay, then we'll tie in the deep lilac over everything. All right. Okay, so then I think I want to put, I like to coordinate all my colors. I'd like to do some of her stockings in the green so that it matches her dress. Let's do the olive and the May green, the olive first. For this here, let's outline here where there's a little bleed over of the purple because it'll cover it better because it's dark. And just kind of outline part of it. Let's do that here too. I'm gonna do the side and a 3/4 box like that. Okay, and then fill in with the May green. Careful with the chisel nib, you lose control. I better switch over. Got on the purple, darn it. Okay, and we didn't put the yellow undertone, so it looks a little more emerald green than her dress does, which is nice. It's a little more of a contrast. It's like a little bit, it looks like a different green. So let's do the olive again down here. Real careful, it's so easy to bleed into the other side. Get the May green. Great. I got a little bit over on her stocking. I could take the mauve and try to go over that there, but then I really need to just redo the whole patch with it so it's consistent. Just gonna look a little darker there. That's all right. We'll just redarken this one as well. She's kind of that punk oddball outfit. Looking pretty good. So her hat. I need to figure out. I need to go grab some skin, some browns for the broom, some taupe straw, and a few other colors. And we will be done. I'm going to maybe use some orange neon stickles to show you how to do some basic solid marker background accents, which are real easy. So I'm going to hold on to my greens. I think I want to do the green on her bow so it ties into her outfit. Let's just go in there with the olive green in the middle. I'm actually just going to straight up put in that yellow green that we have on her bodice. Let's just do that. We'll do yellow green. Okay, so we're done with our greens. I'm gonna be done for the night. I'll continue this recording tomorrow with our remaining colors, and we'll finish up this cute little picture in Alexandra Franzese's book. All right, so we're gonna continue on here. I was looking for my black Ohuhu and Copic. I can't find it because they're probably like the most typical used colors. Anyway, I just grabbed a black Tombow pen. I want to do her boots in black. Just use any black marker or pen you have. Although this one's water-based, which isn't usually as good on Amazon paper, but it's a solid color, not blending. It should be fine as long as you don't tear up the paper and try to go over it too many times. Let's do here. I'm going to do the tongue part that's in the middle, like a purple color that matches her outfit, maybe, or green or something. There. All right, that looks good. A little black. I'm gonna set this aside. I'm gonna probably need this again. I want to go ahead and do the broom. So I have for the broom handle a dark brown. It's chestnut brown Y13. I also, some of my browns are missing. My supplies are all over the place. I'm going to just do a solid brown on this broom handle. It's a dark brown, but I didn't want it to be too close to her hair color because her hair has all those browns. Then you wouldn't really be able to differentiate the broom versus the hair. We're trying to keep this a real basic, simple beginner color along. This almost has a black tint to it, but it's more like a dark brown espresso wood, just for the handle. And you know, you can put a little bit of a alcohol marker blender to give it a little bit of that. Real easy. So that was Y13 chestnut brown. For the broom parts, I have two colors. I have potato brown, BR2, and brown, E070. And I think the darker of the two is, yeah. Let's start with the potato brown. And I'm going to use the brush tip. I'm just going to kind of like stripe it over the bristles. So it's like an unnatural, just kind of pattern. Same here. I'm going to just kind of stripe it left to right. And I'm going to take the other brown, the brown, and I'm going to I'm gonna stripe over this as well. Not filling in every spot. Just to kind of give like a rough pattern because they're, you know, straw or bristles or whatever. Technically, we should go over that with, do I have, yeah, let's go over that with melon yellow, YR3. I'm just going to put some of that in undertone there. Okay, and go back to the first one, the potato brown BR2. And then I'm gonna just kind of go over everything with the potato brown. Not gonna get every white spot. We're just kind of like rotating through the colors. Let's go to the regular brown, the V070. I'm gonna go back to this yellow. Just now I'm using that yellow, the melon yellow, to just blend everything in. So you see some different gradients of color. I'm going to take the alcohol marker blender wherever it looks a little lighter, like in some of those yellow areas, and make it look a little splotchy or faded. You know, if we were using pencil, we could get a more natural straw-like effect with actual wisps. But this is chunky, easy, bold line art. So it's not really... The drawing, the illustration doesn't really allow for that because the bristles aren't already drawn in, like in some brooms. You see, I'm just kind of going over all this with the alcohol marker blender, kind of giving it an uneven sort of a tone, patting it in. Yeah, and you know, we can touch up with a little cream or a little yellow pencil or something to highlight that more, let all that dry. All right, so haven't got 1, 2. Okay, so I want to move on to put these browns down here. I want to go ahead and do these two little ghosties, and I wanted to do kind of some yellowish tones, so it kind of highlights what's in the pumpkin. So I'm going to use orangish yellow tone. So I've got, let me just test my color. Yeah, yellow. What's this one? All right. So I want to start with YR33, the melon yellow again, which will tie nicely into that. YR260 yellowish brown. YR170 chrome orange. And we're going to do the little ghosties. We're going to start with the melon. And I'm just going to kind of outline the little darker area on this ghosty here. Outline him a little bit. Maybe do a little down the center there. That's it. Let's go to the next color, the yellowish brown. I'm going to outline here. I'm striping him a little. Lastly, we're going to do the orange chrome. And I'm just going to fill in everything and go over everything with this orange. So obviously we're doing fantasy colors, not realistic. I don't like doing my ghost white or see-through transparent. I like my ghost to be colorful. This makes me happier and makes me think of like cute coloring more. You can take that first color again, the melon. You can go back over your little grayscale line here. A little bit more right there. If I had my bright yellows, do I still have those? We could take the lightning yellow, which is our brightest, the Y080, and do a little in the middle here. And use this almost like an alcohol marker blender to lighten things up. Kind of like in the center and around his eye. It gives like a tie-dye effect, and then you could take the alcohol marker blender still, do a little bit in the center of that yellow, really fade it, and then I might take a white pencil when it's dry and do a little white glow there. Just let that dry. And let's do the same on the other one. YR260 Yellowish Brown. So again, I'm going to do this grayscale line. Okay, I'm going to do the melon. I'm going to just kind of follow that line a little. Maybe do his little hand. I'm going to do like a little bit down the center there. Outline him a little. And I'm going to take the chrome orange and just fill him in. This is just a real easy way to blend a couple of colors. Real basic, easy, non-fancy blending. And then I'll do the same thing. I'll take that darkest one again, which would be that reddish brown, and I'm going to do that grayscale again, and then kind of down the center. And then I'm going to take the yellow again, the lightning yellow. I'm just going to go right in the center. We'll give him some little eyes and stuff later. And I'm also going to take the alcohol marker blender. In the middle. All right. I like that. So I don't see anywhere in here I really want to put any orange or yellow. I do want to take that black we were doing with the boots, any black you have, and make their eyes darker. Nice bold black, including right there. And in fact, on her eyes, I also want to darken the pre-blackened area because it's kind of faded. All right. We can do a little black on Kitty's nose here. I might want Kitty to be black. I'm torn on that. We need to do her skin. I also want to do some blackish purples on this bat. So I'm going to take the same black. I'm going to outline this grayscale in the bottom of the bat with this black. Now I believe this is a water marker, which means the alcohol marker is not going to blend well, but I did pull 2 purple alcohol markers. I'm going to do his ears. Okay, now I'm going to take the purple. This is Fluorescent Violet FY050. I'm just going to outline with that black. Outline this bat. It's a different purple than we did on our background. Just outlining him. Okay, and I'm going to take a lighter purple, V060 Amethyst, and I'm going to finish this off. And blend over that purple and the black. So really this black, because it was a water base and alcohol marker, it just made it more like an outline. And I do like that look, that outline look. So let's take the alcohol marker blender, and I'm going to put some white touches on him with a pencil. I'm going to do just in the center, so it whitens him up. You see that? Right in the center where we had that lighter color, and you can see him really well. It's hard to see a dark bat on, on a dark background. So I'm giving him like a haze. You might even need the pencil because this alcohol marker blender, you can see, is really softening all of that purple. So I think that is sufficient. I might not even need the pencil, to be honest. All right, I have her skin. I just wanted to try which pink. You know, I'm more of a master of doing skin tones with Copics because they're so much better and easier, and there's like 50 colors and I've mastered them all. But beyond that, I will try to, we can get some Copic skin tone here going in. So let's do that. I have here R29 Pear Color. This is what you're going to need. R090 Eggshell White. Y330 Milky White. RV120 Pale Pink. So let's take the pear color. I'm lining those left to right, darkest to lightest, with the bright pink blush on the right. This is the pear color. So I want to go ahead and kind of, well, I think, oh gosh, that's tough. I take that back. I'm going to do a base color of the Milky White E330. And we got to work kind of quick when we do skin tones if we want things to be smooth. I'm going to do a quick all over base. You don't have to get every nook. Just, I'm going to move quickly then into the pear color, right? So this is just a base. I'm going to get her neck real quick. Just get that color on there. Well, it's still wet. Super easy. Okay, put that back. Let's grab the pear color. I'm going to do outline. Some of that grayscale on her face. Outline a little bit in her neck. I'm going to outline all the way up under her eyes. Okay, then I'm going to go on her nose and then kind of straight up. I'm also going to grab that blush, the RV120. I'm going to put in some blush before we do our final cheek color. Put in a little pink here. It's pale. Might be a little too pale, but put a little bit on her neck. And then our mid-tone, which is the eggshell white, the E090. And that's what we're going to blend most, but not all. We're going to go back in with our base color. I'm going to do up the nose. I'm going to do a little bit more down under her forehead. A little bit more here. Around her eyes. And the neck. And then I'm going to go back to the base color, the milky white, and tie everything in together and go back over everything real quick. So trying to work fast before it's dry so it doesn't look blotchy or streaked. Real simple. There, that's all we need for skin. And then I'm going to grab that pink. You can retouch the blush if you need. It's pretty pale because she's a young girl. You can even touch it up with a pencil if you like once it's dry. Perfect. You can take the pear color if you want to accentuate this grayscale. Go over it one more time, just where there was that pre-drawn in gray. Right there, there, and there. Maybe a little bit more on her nose bed and upward for a little shadow. All right. Okay. Now let's base again. Oh, I need to see what time I have to go to an appointment. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 1:35 p.m.
Okay, I got time. Let's do the milky white again for her arm, the E330. I'm going to base her arm. Again, quickly, one small section of skin at a time. Now let's go to the pear color. We're gonna tap her knuckles. I'm using the chisel nib, but you can use either. I'm going to do up that gray line, her palm, up this gray line, under her sleeve. I'm going to take the blush to do in the crevice of her arm and on her knuckles. Then I'm going to take the eggshell, the 030. I'm going to follow that outline, go into the white space a little more. And quickly, I'm going to go back to our basing color, the milky white. Going to run that over everything, which ties all the colors together. There you go. You can take again the pear color just to re-go over. Okay. There we go. I just touched that again once it dries. I'm going to add a little more pink again. Final layer of a blush. A little more pink on her elbow because once it dries, you need a little more. Okay. Lastly, we have a little leg and a teeny bit of arm. That's it. So we're just going to repeat that with the milky white, the base right here on her little arm and her upper legs. I'm going to take the pear color. Going to do this grayscale and a little bit on her arm right there. Let's touch it with a little of that pink. Right, a little redness on her thigh. And then the eggshell. 090. Just to get in a little bit of that, not all. These can be a little darker because there's not a lot of light hitting this area. So I don't need to do as much of the milky white, but I will just run the milky white over it real quick. Because it's kind of a crunched up area where there's not a lot of light hitting, so it at least can be darker. Yeah, so that is it. That's all we need to do for her skin. Super easy. And there's always more layers you can do, depth, whatever. I'm just trying to keep it real simple for this tutorial. So I'm going to set aside these skin tones. And we still have some final details. Her hat. I want to do, since her boots are black, I feel I need to get a little more black in. I want to do her hat black. So I'm going to take the black and I'm going to just straight up do this hat, her little witch hat black. So one of the tricks is color theme, try to tie in color. So if you have something with one color on the bottom of the page only, try to bring that same color somewhere up in the middle or toward the top, like the top third. If you have, you know, like why I said we have the orange yellow here, I put a little orange and yellow there. It makes a consistent color theme. There's a little yellow in her hair, right? And a little bit of golden in the broom, browns and browns. So we try to keep a consistent color theme. All right, black hat's done. We can embolden that with a black pencil once it's dried if we like. I'm also gonna put the black in her hair ties. So we can sneak in that black a little bit everywhere. It is a witch, late Halloween picture, should I say. Because we also have black. We want to do the bat's eyes, bolden that black. Also, he's got a little shadow of a second bat layer. We're gonna go over an outline here. Okay. We need to do a different color on the rim of her hat. I'm thinking a different green. And I forgot to do the ribbon. And I think on her lace here, we should put some purple. So I'm going to grab this purple, the Lobelia, L-O-B-E-L-I-A, V270. I'm going to use that to do this lace trim she has. I'm going to use it for this lace trim up here. I think I'm going to put that in the tongue of her boots as well. Because again, we're trying for consistent colors. We can blend throughout the wardrobe and tie into this background. I think just for the center part of the tongue, and then the straps, I want them to be kind of funky and bright and alternative. I think I want to do, and I'm fully playing this whole thing by ear. She has a pocket here on her dress. So for the pocket, I'm going to put this color Fluorescent Violet FY050. I'm going to do her pocket here. And this will tie into that back color we did. This has almost a tinge of a periwinkle in it. That's in her pocket. In fact, maybe I'll just do that on the tongue here because it's a different purple. It has a little bit more of a blue in it. You can see that. And just so you know, I had none of the color theme planned as I go. This is how I sometimes pull a picture together when I'm completely just winging it. And as it builds, I pick colors that go well as the more I go. So that looks good. I'm going to darken a little bit for a little shadow. Some little spots on her ruffle here. And I'm going to do the center part of her bow, darken it. I always like to darken the center so it gives contrast, so the bow will stand out more. Okay. So we need some gray, I think, for the soles of her shoes. And maybe I'll put the gray into the kitty. I need a little color for her tongue. We could use... For her tongue, I want to use, this is Current R280. I'm just going to get her tongue in this color. It's a really natural color. Not too pink or not too red. The inside of her mouth, let's see, I think that's too pink. Where's that color I pulled? I'm gonna try this pink here. This is more of a cream. Yeah, I'm putting in Fruit Pink R21, which is more of a peachy pink. So it's a pale, and the tongue contrast sticks out well enough. So I think that's sufficient. For the remainder of her hat, I want to grab these greens. I'm gonna put in the olive green, the G190. To this border on her hat, which is a little different than the actual bow color. To do the center of the bow strap. I'll use the other green, which is May Green, G170, for the remainder of the bow. There. Good. I'm going to darken up that. I'm going to darken up these with the May Green, just a little more contrast. All right. Excellent. I still have, we need to grab the, I need to pause. I need to grab her eye color. White Posca paint pen, and the kitty's colors, and my stickles for the final accents. So I'm going to pause it and show you how I'm going to bring these basic pictures to life. I'm going to go do that now. All right, so I did pull a whole bunch of stickles and liquid pearls that would be fitting for our picture. This is optional, and I'll show you here shortly what I'm going to do with those. I have to finish a couple things. I did grab red gray RG150 to do the soles of her shoes. You can use any gray, but this is just one I had on hand. And it's kind of a brownish gray. So it's not too pale gray, like a cool gray that wouldn't show as well. So just real easy. And then I also, I'm going to move my decorative elements. we're going to do some touch-up pencil work as well, but I did grab 3 greens for her eyes. So I want to go ahead and do, just need to test. Yeah, that's what I thought. This one's darker. All right, so I have 3 colors. G8 glass green, G120 yellowish green, and G4 leaf green. So let's go ahead and do the G8 glass green. And I'm going to just do a little bit of outline into the inside of her eyes, kind of where that kind of grayscale line goes right there. And right there. Just a tiny tad. Then go to the yellowish green, the G120. I'm going to touch a little, not do all the white, but just a little bit more. Lastly, G4 leaf green. And I'm going to touch that right there. As well. Just fill in the rest. And then I'm going to take my alcohol marker blender. I'm going to try to lighten it where we just put in that last color where you can see it's a little lighter. Just right above the black part of her eye. Just to get that line where the dark one ends and the lighter one begins. Just to kind of give a little contrast. We'll use the Posca pen for her eye whites. So that's really all we needed to do on her eyes. And now we're going to do the kitty. I have 4 colors. Red, gray, cocoa brown, clay. So I'm going to do a quick test swatch. And again, I'm randomly grabbing these colors, and I always do them all swatch out side by side so I can kind of figure out the order I want to use them in. Okay. So then so I definitely have that one the darkest. I'm going to switch the third to the second. So I think for Kitty, we're going to do the patches RG080 red gray. Maybe I think I might use a little bit of this cocoa brown as well. Yeah, so we'll use red, gray, and cocoa brown. So I'm going to do the ear, just the outline of the ear. I'm going to do like under here. Her eyes are kind of slant, so I'm going to just outline the top of it. Maybe outline the patch on the inside. And then I'm going to take the cocoa brown, the E400, and just blend out that edge. And then fill it in. Take the alcohol marker blender, lighten it up right around the eye, right there. See that? Okay. Then let's start again for this other patch with the red gray, RG080. I'm going to outline the patch on the inside. Then we'll do the cocoa brown. Okay. So then let's take the other 2 colors. That would be the clay E300. And then I'm going to outline here this other shadow up here. like at the bottom of the face. I'm going to do the whole ear. I'm going to do this paw here. Okay. And let's fill in the last color, the E210 Brick Beige. Brick Beige. And just quickly try to fill this all in. It's going to be a yellowish taupe or greenish taupe color. Well, this was kind of experiment. I'm going to get the inside of the ears. I'm going to pull some of this darker color upward. And the reason I chose this color is because her dress has that tad bit of yellow tint to it, so I thought it'd be a nice contrast, although it might be too stark. Let's see. I can hit that with a pencil. I'll show you how to do some pencil work to make it look a little smoother. So let's just leave this here. Let's take the alcohol marker blender though, up under, up under the eye, and then this nose bridge right here. And under the eye. Gonna get inside the ears. Make it look a little hazy and softer. All right. Let's do the body. So we'll take that clay. I'm gonna just do a little outline right here. I'm actually doing the clay over here. I'm going to outline the tail in the clay. And then I'm going to fill it in with the brown, the brick beige, the E210, which is that yellowish taupey color again. I'm going to find a pencil that's a similar color in my Prismas, and I'll touch this up in a little bit when it dries. And I just realized we missed one of her hands. I totally did not see that. Sometimes your brain just doesn't see things until it's the last thing uncolored, and then it stands out what it was. So that was a boo-boo. I'm going to, we're done with the cat, with the markers. I'm going to grab my skin tones. Touch up, do her hand real quick, because I missed her hand. I'm just going to do it in a solid color. And I'm going to touch it with a little bit of whatever the skin tones were I had you do earlier. Just touch that up. I'm putting a little pink in the center. Actually, I'm going to put a little more pink right there, and then across her knuckles too. Okay, I'm going to put a little blush on her with an actual pencil as well. Okay. Good. So theoretically, other than our pencil touch-ups, we're done with all the markers. We're going to do the white Posca pin now. And I'm going to do her eyes. I think I might need a new one. This is the white Posca pen, the 3mm, which is ideal for things like eyes. I might be almost dried. I'm gonna have to see if I can activate it. Yeah, it was almost out the last time I used it. You can almost, let's see. Well, technically, what you're gonna do is you're gonna get these eye whites right here. I might have almost enough, like that. You can use a white gel pen, but a thicker white is good. And then this little part of her eye that goes upward right there. Good. I need to set this, leave this out so I can go ahead and order a new one. I'll link this below if you don't have one, but it's great for most of the like eyes and things. Yeah, if it's too dried out, it's gonna look a little splotchy. I think it'll be fine though. So while that's drying, I want to go ahead and show you what I want to do with the stickles. So what I try to do, I look for where I want to use stickles. I want to put stickles in the pumpkin insides, the glow. I want to put some stickles maybe on the ghosts, maybe on the little details on her shoes or her bows for like accessory highlights. And the way I choose colors is I figure where I want to put the stickles, and then that's the color I look for. So for example, my yellows, I have 2 yellows. One's almost gone, one's new, so I grab both. They're yellow sparkle, and that is similar to this yellow. I usually want to go a little bit lighter, and I'm going to put this on the inside. Okay, so let's see how much I can get out of this. And really all you do is you squeeze. If there's any left in this one. Yeah, so you squeeze it out and you use the tip of it to move it around to fill in the space. And you can use your finger to touch up. Use this to fill in the space. Move it around with the tip. So that sparkle gives it a little more like a magic. You know, this is a magic picture. I got a little out of there. Let's see if I can get enough on here. Yeah, so I'm going to just squeeze it right on in. And then I move it while it's still wet. You just use the tip. You can use your finger. I'll show you how to do that. I'll put it on my finger and put it on the background sometimes. It's easier to use this tip to control keeping it within the lines. You just kind of move it around. It's kind of goopy more than it is like wet. It's not really sticky. So yeah, so we're gonna get some sparkle and coming out of the pumpkin. I'm gonna put some here. Usually you don't need 2 hands, but that's because mine's almost gone. I'm trying to get the last drop out of it. The yellow is one I use the most, like for candles, for, you know, Christmas pictures. I put it over my suns or moons sometimes. Let's make sure it's in the line. Let's just move this around. Odd. Hearing voices, but there's nobody here. I swear, I'm not crazy. Maybe it's the mailman, maybe? On my porch. Alright, and then I want to do the same with his mouth. I'll go back and do the mouth one in a minute off camera, because that one's going to take a few minutes longer. Just to show you, I'm going to set my yellows aside. We're going to do some liquid pearls for the background. But I want to do, I grabbed this. See how we put this kind of periwinkle-ish on her foot straps? I grabbed this one. It's called True Blue. It's more of a blue, but with a purple background, it'll look fine. I'm going to squeeze this. To put some magic sparkles on the strap of her shoes. This one's pretty full. Sometimes you might have to squeeze out the first little bit onto a paper because it can be a little goopy right when you first squeeze it out, which I should have done. Just going to put that there. Try to straighten it. I'm going to put that here. Going to put that here. So that's some magic and gives it some more definition and accessory on her shoes. I'm also going to, excuse me, oh, that was the wrong color. I'm going to grab the purple. This is a straight up purple, it's called. I'm going to put this in the center of her bows. So you get some of that textured like bling bling on the accessories like you would get if you go to Claire's in the mall, you know, for hair accessories. And it just kind of like brings the picture to life. It gives it more definition, looks a little more 3D, makes it pop out a little. It's just some extra special fun magic effects. I'm actually going to do that on this little scallop lace on her dress so it matches the bow. I'm just going to go up like I'm piping on a cake. like that. And I'm also going to do the lace on her skirt. I think I'm only going to do parts, like a little right there. There. Just a few detail spots, maybe. I should probably do the whole thing, but let's see how it looks. I think it looks fine. I'm just putting in some little bits of detail here. There's an ant on my desk. Go away. Go away. Go away. Come back another day. Don't bring your friends. I don't see where else. Her hair tie, I might want to put some on, even though we did black. I'm going to put it on her hair tie to fill this in. You can also use the black diamond stickles, one of my favorites. And I didn't put a hair tie here, but I'm going to just pretend there is and add it right there under the broom. Okay, so we have that. I brought a green. This is called Seafoam. Because I didn't have like a lime stickles. I'm going to put some of this on her hat bow. So I'm going to do there, this center, and there. And I'm going to do the full bow and sparkle. Right there. Gives it a little more texture. I'm going to put a little bit of this here in the divots on her dress sleeve right there. Right here. And sometimes when you do one of these quick, easy pictures with basic coloring markers, these stickles can make it look a little nicer to overcome some of the dullness of the markers. We're not going to do much pencil work on top because we don't really have the time. I need to get onto some more videos, but generally that can negate that fact. I almost want to put a little bit of green over her eyes where that white is. Put a little magic in her eye right there. There we go. Magic. Okay. That was the green. I also have some peach. This is called grapefruit, technically. I want to put some of this on the ghosties. Now, shoot, mine's almost, I had to cut the tip off. See if I can get some out here. Yes, I can. So I'm just gonna just move a little around the ghostie's belly. It's kind of an orangish yellow, and we have orange and yellow on the ghostie. This is where you can just take your finger and dab it. Dab it all over the center. Doesn't really stick. It's not like glue or anything. You just wipe it on like a little towel. Wipe your finger off on a towel. Sometimes I'll even use my skirt. The things artists do that they don't care about. I'll sparkle on ghostie number 1. I'll sparkle on ghostie number 2. Move this around. And sometimes if I want to put sparkle in the background, I would put it on my finger and just dab it all over the background. That's how I get like a sparkle. Background. Ah, goodness. Try not to get on the purple. Okay, ghosties have a little bit of detail there. What else do I have? I also, oops, I did the blue. So lastly, well, I'm just going to show you. I'm going to open my new yellow one. And I'm just going to do this back. So what I would do here is I would outline it. Kind of. You don't even have to do the full inside. In that case, I'm thinking I'm going to, oh, that's tough. I like it like that too. I'm just going to outline it and see how I like that look, because it's a bigger space. Let's outline the inside. This is a brand new one, hasn't been used, so you get that nice, sharp control of your tip. I will link all of these these colors I use below. You can buy these individually, and I just buy more and more colors over time and kind of stock up on them. I'm gonna get in this little crevice here, here. I think that looks good, and you can fill in the whole thing if you want to dab it all into the whole mouth, but I kind of like that texture. I kind of want to put some of that grapefruit-y color on this part of the eye right there. I'm just going to dab it right in with the tip. There we go. Okay. Going to dab that in. Real easy. Alright, one on the nose, one on the inside of the eye. Just put a little bit there, a little right here. Okay, there's our little sparkle effect. And you can go as crazy as you want. Like you could do her whole bows on the sparkle on top of the marker. You always don't want to do it over white. You want to do it over the color because you'll be able to see some of the white through it. But what I wanted to do, we do need to do a little, maybe a couple pencil touches once this dries. But I have 4 colors here. Let me show you for some polka dot background I wanted to do. I have this bright yellow that matches in the pumpkin. I have this bright green that matches some in her outfit. And I have this orangey rust color called Orange Blossom. And I have a clear, if we want to put any clear sparkle on maybe the bat or something like that. What I want to do is do straight up polka dot background. So I'm going to just open these. These are liquid pearls. This one's called Lightning. They're by Ranger, and I'll link all these below. You buy them individually. So I'm going to hold my paper down because it's a little bulgy. Don't touch your fingers where you put these stickles. They tend to need to dry overnight with the book open. I'm going to hold the paper down. I'm going to start dabbing some polka dots. They do look like little pearls. You can do as big or small as you want. I'm going to do them small. Not going to be perfect. You have to try to pull it straight up so that little last dab goes upward like a squirting out a Hershey Kiss. Let's do one here. It takes time, but I love my fun backgrounds. See it? Ah! Ah! You can see that's what you don't want to have happen. All right, I have a little cloth here. Actually, what's still wet, it'll come right off. Woo. So that one just smeared. You can get it off while it's wet and redo it, or you can retouch that with your purple marker. Darn, that has not happened to me in months. That's so weird. Probably because I put lotion on my hand before I sat down here. Okay, that could have been so much worse. I can fix that with a purple marker, which I will. Okay, whew. Let's continue carefully. So I'm going to finish this off camera and then I'll come back so it doesn't take too much time, but you see what I'm doing. I just want to show you. And then I'm going to take the green. I'm going to do the same thing. This one is called Electric. And I'm just going to squeeze. Come on. This one's not empty, is it? Let's see if I can get some out. I have to go grab another one because this one's about empty. Okay, well, I am going to use the green, but I'm going to have to come back to that in a second. Let's do, though, the Orange Blossom, because this one is new. It should be fine, I think. I'm going to just weave this in to areas, or, you know, like weave it around the other color. Right? I try not to press into the paper. I just wait till the blob hits the paper, and then I pull up. If you push down, it will kind of leave like a depression. And by that, I don't mean the kind that the country's feeling right now. I'm talking about it being depressed to flatten down. Right, so it's like drop it and pull it up. Drop and pull up. Okay. And you can do that with any coordinating colors you want that kind of match. I try to go with colors that are inside the center. So if you need to touch something, be careful here. Put your finger. I'm going to try. I just have to make that bigger. So if you make a boo-boo, just go back over it. Make it a little bigger. Yeah, like should go over that with a marker. As soon as it dries, I'll fix that. So I'm gonna go, I need to get a needle. If it gets clogged and nothing comes out, this one was new, I thought it was old. So sometimes you just need to squeeze until you get that first blob out. Or you can get like a sewing needle and you just kind of stick it in there and clear it. All right, and try to get all the colors down kind of evenly. See that? It's not gonna be perfect, it's just like a fun polka dot background. So I'm gonna finish that up with these 3 colors off camera, and then I'll come back and show you. Also, I'm gonna grab a pencil and show you one last trick. I am gonna take this clear, and this one is called Twinkle. I don't know if there's any left in this one. I'm gonna put the Twinkle on the bat right over on the white part. I'm gonna use my tip and just kind of fill it in as I go. I want a twinkly magical bat. Just in the white part. Just kind of zig it in there. And then stop squeezing and then use the tip to like move it around. Get a nice magical look. That's a clear, but looks good over any area that had like a little white. I do want to put a little pencil detail on the cat. Maybe darken her boots. And I'm kind of tempted to want to do some on the broom. So I'm going to grab my Prismacolor pencils. You can probably use any waxy pencils. Sucolor works good as well. Or Castle Art Gold, anything that's more waxy, like a Derwent Pro Color. So off camera, I'm going to finish these dots. I'm going to go grab my pencils. I'll pause it. And then I will come back. We will finish, finally, our cute little witch girl. All right, so I'll show you what I did. I finished the whole background with those dots. But then I decided to add some to her outfit because I wanted to look like it's just raining down all of these beautiful like rainbow balls over her, like the magic, the polka dots. So I put a little of the orange and the yellow on her stockings, just the yellow on her dress, and just the orange on her bodice. And then I did the green one. I did a stripe right there. So it kind of looks like she matches in with the environment. It's all magic and stuff. So when I'm doing pencil work, ideally I would have done the pencil work before I do the background stuff, but I was eager to get that done and starting to dry. But when I decide what to touch up with pencil, I look at like what looks flat or dull. Markers can be kind of dull. On my nicer paper and other books, I put a lot more effort in with pencil work on top than I would in this one. Sometimes I wouldn't do any at all in this one. First thing I might do is take my black to deepen up the black on her boots. Try not to get, this is still wet. So I might just try to run over it with the black pencil. You got to make sure it's long dry. I forgot that I used a water-based Tombow for her boots. If you're using, so you really need to go over it with alcohol marker. So it's not going to work on here because this was water-based very well. But assuming you did alcohol black marker, which I should have done and you probably should do, it'll deepen up nicely. Over the water-based, it doesn't really show much. It doesn't do a lot. It can even streak it a little. But yeah, on an alcohol marker, with going over with Prismacolor will look really nice, a nice deeper color. So I could do a little bit, but it's not going to be fantastic. I'm also going to grab a pink to touch up the blush on her cheeks and to deepen the color of her tongue. So I got henna for her tongue. This is Prismacolor. Gotta be really careful. This was alcohol marker, so it should go over fine. So this will make it a little more red. You can see like what a tongue might look like. There you go. You can see that way better now. See, that went over way better than it did on the water-based medium. I also would do a little blush on her cheeks. I'm going to do the rose, which is a little dark, but I'm going to do real small, slow circles here. I'm going to find a place with no dots, push down to hold the paper down. It's wet. I'm going to do just a little bit, really light, just to give it like a little more rosy color up here. You can do even lighter. This is just the one that I grabbed. You got to barely touch the paper though, so it looks almost like a little blush, like a little flush, feathery kind of a look to it. Can go up to here. get over here as well. Up here. Just going over it real light multiple times just to give her a little bit of a flushed look here. You can even add a little bit on the inside of the upper part of her mouth. So it looks a little brown right now. Yeah, just real easy. A little bit more blush there. Looks cute. I can't go quite as hard as I want because I don't want to mess up any of my pearls. I did grab a gray color, warm gray, any gray, just to kind of go over this part on her boots, on the sole, so it'll stick out more. This is PC 1052. See, that shows quite a bit better right there. I also got, I grabbed a yellow to kind of do a little more yellow highlight in her hair. This is 1011 Deco Yellow. So I'm going to try to do that right here where I have a little more yellow. I'm going to do it kind of light. Just to look a little, make it a little look softer and like a little more, you know, blondish yellow highlight or whatever. I'm going to do that going all the way down her braid in a very soft manner. Wherever it was the lightest, where we touched in some of that yellow. Not all of the strands, just some. You can see. Sometimes I'll go over the whole hair with matching colors in pencil of whatever the marker is, but I don't have time for that, so I'm just gonna just do a little. Let's go here. So you see it's just bringing her hair alive. It's kind of, I'm just adding it a little bit here or there. It's softening things up a little, makes it a little more textured. I'm even touching over some of those browns, just a very light on the brown or red or brown areas. Just to make it kind of pop a little. And I'm just holding it at the end of the pencil so it's really light going down. Okay, so that's easy. I do have a purple I want to touch up on her. This is Lilac PC 956. Then I wanted to go over this here at her thigh to give it a little more depth because it looks kind of flat. There we go, that's a little better. Can even do that on the bow a little bit. Let's just do a little bit here at the center. A little bit in the corners. Just getting a little bit in here. Just a little touch up of some purple there. I'm gonna do a little bit down where that shadow area was on the side of the stocking, wherever that light grayscale line was. Okay, and lastly, I would have done a lot more if I hadn't done the stickles first. I wanted to touch up the cat. The cat looks really dull and flat to me. I have, let's see, I have 4 colors. I need to sharpen. I'm just going to show you a couple things real quick. Whoops. Okay, why? Did I just... Oh. I just broke that one. Okay, anyway. I have to dump when the shavings thing gets too full, then it doesn't let you do anything, which is annoying. I finished that henna on her tongue. So I have some kind of neutralies here. So for the cat, I think I'm going to take just a little bit of this. What is this? This is French Gray 20%. I'm just going to do a little bit of his paw here. See how this goes. Kind of go over a little bit of it. Just adding in a little. I'm going to swap out with the beige. This is beige. Just going to kind of go over the whole thing so he looks a little more like it's more of a cream than like that green tint. On my marker, there we go. I'm going to put that beige into his ear. Gonna do this color. This is putty beige, PC 1083. I'm gonna do a little bit of that over that white area. I'm gonna do this on his tail. I'm gonna go over this with the putty beige, the outside, and then I'll get that regular beige on the inside. And let's do the regular beige. Just to kind of give him a little more depth there. A little better, kind of that French gray in there. Just kind of put it wherever you feel like the colors kind of match up. We're just trying to kind of soften up that kitty a little bit. That's a little better, softer, and then a little more natural looking, not quite as flat. I did take my black pen and go over his little eyes. You did want to do that, and his little whiskers. You can even do that with a black pencil. Just kind of go over it here. Make sure you want to touch around her eye. I got some white where it shouldn't be. I'm gonna get my black Faber-Castell Pitt pen to do her eyelashes. So I run over this whole, because this is a nice pointed part, and you can buy this pen separately. I use it for almost everything, but eyes in particular, or small details. It looks great in the Deborah Moeller books too, and it's a sturdy felt tip, so it doesn't fray or anything. I'm gonna get right here. 1, 2, 3. Touching everything up, and then I'll maybe give her a few more freckles with that black one, or darken up her little freckles. One, you can use a brown for this too. add like a little one there. Little tiny, add a couple as well. And then I'm going to do the kitty's little nails. I'm going to go over just those lines that are already there, make them stand out more. And then I'm going to do the base of his ear. I'm going to actually use this to go over his eye, which would be better than the pencil technically. His whiskers, mouth. Woo! I think we are officially done for our very basic coloring book. We did a lot. I think this picture is really cute. Well, I did want to do, I had wanted to do like a little bit of touch up on the broom. I don't know that I have time. I mean, you could take that beige. You can put a little bit of that beige here where it's a little more yellow, just to kind of make it look more straw color. Just put a little bit in the center of each right there. One, two, three. But yeah, we are done. I will link below everything I used. I'll put a list of all the colors. I don't have the time to say what I did for what. So as you watch the video, I'll tell I'll just tell you all the colors to pull, to have them at your disposal to pull when I say from your basket, we're using this color, we're using that color. You could even touch a little of that Deco yellow if you wanted into here as well. This is just, again, very basic introductory level coloring. I hope you guys had a good time and love this picture. I'm going to go post this video. Thanks everybody for watching, and stay tuned for more. Showing everyone real quick the final product, and we just finished the end of the video. I'm going to put this in at the beginning. This is what we're going to be doing. The background and all the glittery, sparkly bauble details are optional, but I will show you how I did that. I'll link below everything I used. And you can use these things for many, many different pictures. Again, this is very basic introduction level, easy coloring with some fun extra details just to give it a little pop. I hope you guys have a good time watching the video, and let's get started.